Welcome back to, welcome to the start of a new anime review series. Finally, I get a chance to start this thing after several days of delaying this thing, but now apparently I'm finally starting it. This is Why Does No One Remember Me in This World? Excuse me. I first heard about this series on Facebook, believe it or not. Yes, and there's a scene in the first episode that people compared this to a scene from the very first episode of Euphoria. And not only compared to that, but watching the first episodes, I get flashbacks to. This reminds me of a couple other series I've watched. One is currently in hiatus, and those series are Our Last Crusade of the Rising of the World, with the whole modern setting, with a little bit of magic. But not technically real world, just a fantasy world with modern technology. There is that. There is the Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy. This also kind of reminds me of a little bit of, because the whole thing of remembering stuff, reminds me a lot of the Misfit Demon King Academy. Yes, mentioned a little bit of that one too. Was there anything else? No, nothing I could think of. This is the first anime I've come across where they have an alternate history. Yes, where the timeline is altered. And it's the premise of the series. Not just for a single episode or two. This is the premise of the whole series. Which I found that to be interesting, because I saw that wow. And then, of course, I was shocked the fact, basically, who does the dub for this thing. Okay, so the premise of the series is that 100 years prior to the series, there was this 5-species war where humanity won thanks to a prophet Sid, who used his big hunking sword and used it to basically defeat the bad guys. Well, the air species. And humanity won. They're basically, there's no more. The demons basically are imprisoned in these graveyard pyramids. Apparently 4 of them across the planet. When in the world that they kind of build these things, I don't know. Okay, then we focus on our main character named Kai, who is voiced by Rico Fujaro. Yes, I recognize his voice right away. And yep, it's definitely him. I looked it up, and I had to add a few more series, basically how many series I've seen him, because I forgot to update him. This one now makes it the 30... Let's see. I think overall the 36th series. No, actually it's 35. Yep, 35. 35th series overall, which I was kind of surprised about that. And he's here with 2 of his friends. Saki, who's voiced by the awesome Jill Harris. Which, if you're really curious, for Jill Harris, this is, for me, her 19th series. The last series I watched with her in it was Re-Monster. You're like, really? Re-Monster's the last one you watched her in it? Yeah. Isn't that something? Oh, definitely. Yep, and there's also Iris voiced by Justin Green. So they're here just to watch over this particular graveyard for 300 seconds, and then they go back because that's part of their job. And of course, using training. There's also a friend of his named John. Yes, that's the pronounced name anyway, John. It looks like Genie. It looks like it's a G-E-N-N-E, but it sounds John, and she's voiced by Megan Shipman. Great voice actress she is. And if you're really curious, what number is this for her? For Megan? I have to look it up because I have basically a record here for me. Let's see. For Megan, this is... Because I know I have it on my list of... this actually is the 27th series that I've seen her in. Yep. And of course, it goes from training, and then course, John has to be staying off because, well, she's going to be a candidate in the Capitol. She's trying to surpass her father. And then while he's talking to her while they're shopping, look like they're on a date, there is a possibility these two have a thing for each other. But they'll explore because then the area starts glitching. Is the anime doing this? No, this is part of the story. So, and then of course, basically while talking to her, the area changes where it's completely in ruins. And then a freaking demon shows. They're like, what the heck is going on here? Oh yeah, and also, before this, he does remember when he first met her, there was a time when he fell into one of the graves and graveyards, and he basically saw Sid's sword. And that comes to play at the end of the episode, which I actually thought was really cool. The fact they set it up. This particular really cool looking sword is this basically like a little pointy thing, like on the edge, and it's the blade is basically very rectangular. It's like a rectangular blade. I'm like, that was interesting. Oh, by the way, his primary weapon is a gun blade. Yep, which is endued with bullets with essence of elfin magic. And that's interesting given the fact that I have not seen elf in this series. I'm like, that is really cool. He, of course, takes on one of the demons. And, of course, every demon talks. I'm like, wait, demons talk? Is this when demons talk? I've seen many series demons talk. Then he's saved by his colleagues who don't remember him. Yeah, they don't remember him at all because the world has changed. Apparently, humanity lost the war 30 years into the series. Like, this is a change. Like, somebody's altered history. Like, who has it? Who's done it? Don't know yet. And basically, they brought to the underground city. He, of course, has no idea what's going on. And then he remembers, basically, like, at the beginning for a bit, he was no problem. And then he remembers, oh, yeah, I remember basically how to get back to reality. So, then he remembers where the sword is, where Sid's sword. He knows exactly where it is. He knows that, oh, yeah, the pyramids do exist here, the pyramid graveyards. What purpose they serve in this alternate timeline is completely unknown, because in the regular timeline they serve as graveyards to basically hold imprisoned demons. Here they're just pyramids. So then he borrows a jeep, drives across basically ruined city, comes across the closest pyramid he can come across, which then he knows, oh, the breach door is open. Yes, there's a door inside the pyramid. He goes inside. And there's Sid's sword. Which, by the way, the reality, this timeline is completely forgot that Sid existed. So, and then he's whisked away to some sky area. When he comes across this beautiful woman, which, looking at her, she reminds me so much of the lead character, like appearance-wise, minus the wings, reminds me of Alice from Alaska, seeing the rise in the world. This scene here, with her being chained up like this scene here, I actually heard this scene got a lot of comparisons with basically how Yu was introduced in Afria. This is very similar, except that Yu was butt naked. Here, she's actually fully clothed. Apparently, she was defeated by the demon here, Veronica, who was the evil empress. So basically, he uses the key. He first uses his own blade, doesn't work. By the way, when they first built demons, he used basically mentioned, oh yeah, because they're gargoyles, use water on them, and of course, then shoot them. Like, okay, interesting. So then, of course, basically frees her, and then this weird, like, whatever this person is with this weird tail shows up. Who this person is, it's not Veronica. No, she shows up in episode 2, don't worry about that. So, then, of course, he battles her, frees her, escapes. By the way, he's able to actually stop magic thanks to Sid's sword, which I think is known as like the world sword it is. And apparently, according to this creature, this demon, whoever this is, refers to Sid's sword as the Forbidden Sword. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So then, of course, they escape. They drive back to Sydney. Of course, basically, about her name is Rennie. And of course, he doesn't know what species she is, and she doesn't want to talk about that. To me, she looks like an angel, who just happens to dress like, who wears the same exact outfit as Alice. Like, Yeah, that's what Kai and Renan look like. I look at her outfit, like her appearance reminds me so much of Alice. Same color scheme, both blondes, except she has wings. Oh, by the way, that's a sword I'm talking about right there. Yep, that's a sword, which I thought that was really cool, the fact that they actually have a good build for the sword. And, of course, he basically speaks to John, which he first sees her. She does not know who he is, despite the fact these two have no interest since they were children. So, then he mentions all the fact that time has been altered, they don't believe him, but then he mentions basically, by the way, it's also mentioned that her father died. She's part of this timeline. So he does mention her father's nickname and her grandfather's nickname, and of course then she's like, okay, I believe you now. So then, of course, by the way, no one in this room knows that she is a woman. No one knows. They think she's a guy. This way I think, look at that face. It's clearly a woman. And, well, she has to dress this way for reasons, per se. It's not really clear. So, then after, of course, by the way, Rena does not know anything about shower. She probably doesn't know to shut it off. So, then, of course, they're asked to come to visit Rennie. Not Rennie, for John, which, of course, basically, that they theorize how they basically deal with Veronica by using this sword, because his father tried to take out Veronica, but had a plan to infiltrate the palace via this underground train system. Let's explain in episode 2 about this. So, and of course, the father initiated this plan, but he couldn't go through with it because he didn't know how to be Veronica. So he knew how to do part of this plan, and the only reason why he entrusted to his daughter, the reason why that, even though she's basically new commander, because he didn't want to put his own daughter in danger. And from what I can tell, she understood that. No problem. I'm like, interesting. So, Rennie and Kai are basically sent on a mission to infiltrate the palace to kill Veronica, while the human resistance proceeds to buy them time. And we see Veronica by the end of the episode. We don't hear her speak, but we do kind of see her. And apparently she's the one who initiated basically all the destruction of cities. Interesting. Oh yeah, and also the fact that the human resistance headquarters is in the capital. And no one didn't even ever suspect they're even there. Oh yeah, by the way, also, demons did attack the underground city they were in, which of course, basically thanks to Kai, they repelled them. But all in all, great first 2 episodes. And I believe there's about 3 more left. There are 12 episodes for the whole series, so this should be interesting. Oh, it's called The Cold Holder. Yes, and it's almost like the way this series is done. It's like we're in a video game or whatever. I thought this was interesting. Like, this is a really cool concept. By the way, in case you're curious though, is there a person who's responsible for alternate timeline? No. They don't. I don't find info about that. Oh, by the way, Rennie is voiced by Emily Lowe. Yep, Emily Lowe voices her. And this is the 14th show I've seen her in. I just saw her in The 100 Girlfriends Really, 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 Really Love You. Yep, that was also when I saw her in. But yeah, good start for the series so far. We have 10 more to go. And then once this is done, I'm going back to watching Kingandra as soon as this is wrapped up. So that's pretty much it. Particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. Next up, we have a Comic Corner, and after that, we have Dr. Stone next, and then back to this. Okay, next video. Bye.